Thank you for joining all of us today for the ESSER third year annual reporting guidance session. My name is Wendy Fons, and I'm the ESSER and EANS Director at the Office of Public Instruction. And with me today is Rebecca Brown, who is our Program Manager, and also Garrett Morrell, who is our Systems Analyst for ESSER. All of us are here today to help make the process of data collection a little bit easier. I do realize that it is a hefty pull on staff, so we hope that this guidance session will help you in that. However, at any time, feel free to reach out to us and ask for assistance. One point I do want to mention is that you should be receiving emails which will indicate how you can register for work sessions. Those work sessions will actually be a walkthrough on this data collection process. So we're going to go ahead and start with the process today and demonstrate how that process will look like for you as a district. We're going to use an example from Beaverhead County. So we're going to start with the process of going to the OPI website. And on our OPI website, in the bottom right-hand side, you will see an ESSER tab, and you will click on that. From there, you will see a red tab that says ESSER Data Collection, Year 3. And then you will see an instruction page. And we're just going to walk through that instruction. But before I start, I do want to remind you that the data reporting period that we are addressing in this third year is July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. So that's the period that all questions are going to be asked of you. So the first thing you need to do when you come to this page is you'll need to scroll down a little bit because you probably won't see any counties or any folders. At that point, you'll probably want to change where it says items per page. You can change that to say all or 50 or 100, depending on where you think your county is going to fall. Then you're going to go ahead and select a county, folder, a file, and it will automatically be downloaded for you. So we're going to walk through that. So we're going to go into Beaverhead County. We're going to choose Beaverhead County High School. And you notice that the file downloaded automatically. This is an Excel file, so the data that you will be entering will be in an Excel format. Now, if you had more than one school that you needed to report to, you would look still in the same folder and download more than one. So we'll go into that file now and take a look at it. And you'll see that in the Excel file, you have two tabs. One of them is an instructional tab. Again, we're going to walk through that. And the second one is your LEA data tab. So that's the tab where you'll actually enter in all of your information. So we'll go back to the instruction. And again, I'm just going to go over this briefly. You may have more than one file that you'll need to retrieve. And if there are two different files, they will be named differently. You do not want to rename any files. And the reporting period again is July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. So the first thing that's going to happen is you will need to answer the questions on the LEA tab, which will have the ability to edit. And it will be in that blue section. Again, I'll show that to you in a minute. So it's row 10 and it'll be blue, and that's what where you're going to be entering data. When you're finished, you're going to save that file. Do not rename the file, but that saving will allow you to have a copy for yourself as well. You then will upload the file into a Google form. An authorized representative will need to upload it and certify that this is in fact you who is entering the data and has verified the data that you're submitting. Couple of tips that we're giving again is do not rename. And also, if your district does not have Excel, if you're using another platform generally to do your accounting, feel free to give us a call. We can help you convert the file if it needs to be. You'll see when we get into the file, it's a pretty straightforward entering in numbers. You don't have to do formulas or anything of that nature. And then the other thing, just wanted to point out, I know I'm wearing glasses and I can never see Excel. It's always way too small. So we give you a little hint here if you want to increase the screen size so that it shows a larger text print without doing anything in the actual fields themselves. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hop into the LEA data tab. And this is what the tab's going to look like. So the first thing I want you to notice is the fact that the top rows are all protected. So you can't change those data. You don't need to worry about, suppose I wipe out a cell, that's not going to happen. The other thing to notice here is there's this really big bright blue section, and that's where you're going to enter in. And your LE number and name of the school that you're entering the data for should be on that row 10 and right at the beginning. So if you retrieve a file and it doesn't show that for some reason, maybe you downloaded the wrong file or something to that effect, just check there to make sure it's the right one. Or if you're entering data for more than one district, again, just check on what district you're typing information in for. The next thing you'll notice in here is that most of these are true and false questions. So if you look at that first part, it says in column D, did you spend any ESSER funds in any flavor promoting vaccinations? So did you create flyers? Did you contract with the nurse to come in? Any of those kinds of things. And it is a true false. So true, think yes. False, think no. This goes across for quite a ways. And you're just going to get a drop down there for a true and false. And as we keep moving along, you'll see these are all true and false. And then you're going to come to a section that's going to have narration. And that narration is going to start with 1500. So what it'll say is, you've answered all these other questions. Is there additional information that you want to tell us? The other thing you'll notice is in a few spots, you will have a decimal amount. And for this one, which is dealing with AM, it's dealing with FTE and staff that you have. You do need to calculate and look at your staff by an FTE, so full-time equivalent, and round it up to that one decimal. There's some other things that have to be done. There's one here on AL that's for 2 decimals. So you'll get an error if you try and calculate it differently. So just look at those indicators. The acceptable answer row, which is going to be 8, and you'll be able to see what types of numbers you can enter in. And again, the 1500 count is pretty small. You can abbreviate. It's just a spot for you to add some additional clarification on information that you already entered. Now we want to scroll over just to show you again, these are very colorful. We notice we changed to blue here. And part of what's happening is these files have to be then collected. So Garrett gets the wonderful opportunity to collect all these files from you and put them back into a format that the federal government has asked us to provide. In this blue section, there's 2 descriptions. One is other activities, 1500 characters. And then just for best measures, they add another 3000 characters. So you can add in some more information there. So those narrations are optional for you, but you can enter in information. One thing to note is if you answered false to the section beforehand, then your narration you can't enter in something there because there wouldn't be an additional thing to add. So that completes the LEA tab. So those are the ones that you will need to fill out yourself and enter in that information. Again, we will walk you through during a work session, but this is just to give you an idea of what you'll be entering in. When you're finished, you will save the file and then go back to the instructional page. And after you've saved it, you'll go back to the instructional page and you'll link to the submission link. And we've provided it in 2 ways. We've provided a hyperlink, but if you want, you can copy out the actual URL and post that into your URL on your site. Either way should work fine. So we'll go into the form now. And I couldn't get the greens to match up perfectly on the instructions, but we did a pretty good job here. So this is just a Google form, and you're going to be entering in some information about your district. It's going to pick up your email address of who is submitting. Then we're going to come down and it's going to say, what is the LEA name? Please spell this out. Please do not abbreviate, but actually spell out the full school name. Then it will ask for the LE number. This is the one that you're using in eGrants. It's 4 digits. And then who is the authorized representative? in eGrants, first and last name, and then the email address for that person. That should be the authorized representative who is actually doing the submission, and their phone number. So this would be their direct line. And then we do ask a question, have you converted your Excel sheet? So even if we helped you with this, we do want you to indicate if you have converted the file. There are some very specific things that Garrett will need to do when he takes all of these district files and combines them. And those that have been converted, we want to treat a little differently and make sure that there are no errors in that submission. Then you're going to look at adding the file. So you're going to add that file that you updated. You're going to go pull it up from your drive. And you're just going to go ahead and insert it. And it should show up there. You, depending on the speed of your system, you may need to wait a little bit. So please be patient until it actually shows up in the field right there. And then we'll go to the next. And at this point, you're going to authorize that you are, or certify that you are the authorized representative. And you will agree that the information that you're presenting is the information that you've gathered and entered into that file. And then you will submit. Now, when you submit, you should receive confirmation of submission. Please save that form that you get. You can screenshot it. And I think those things are very important for you to keep for your own records. So then you will have the file that you actually submitted, as well as an email that indicates that you have received, that you submitted. And you'll also have that screenshot that shows right afterwards. Each one of those pieces are very important for your any audits that come back to say, have you complied with the ESSER reporting guidance for year 3. That concludes our webinar today on how we're going to be doing the data collection for annual year 3. And again, if you have any questions, you can contact any of us, but we will be sending out an email as well. If you have not received an email and someone sent you the link to this webinar, please give us a call or give us an email so that we can make sure you're able to register for one of those walkthrough work sessions. Thank you so much, and we look forward to receiving your data collection for ESSER Data Collection Annual Year 3. Thank you.